From the BzG studio in the Mission Dolores district, right in the heart of San Francisco, it's BzG News with Barrett Courtney.
Thank you so much over there. Thank you, guy in the red flannel all the way in the back. And thank you kindly over here. What's up, everybody? My name is Barrett Courtney, and this is BzG News. Yes, it is our weekly news show where I bring in all of the crazy, fucked up, nerdy news for you, and I give my 2 cents about it. I apologize for last week's episode. Totally my fault, where I brought on mics, totally did not tell Seven what was going on. Mics were turned off. My fucking fault. So I apologize for that, for Netflix and Chill, and for our interview with Alex O'Neill and Nabishin from IrrationalPassion.com. And speaking of interviews, fucking Gamer of the Month is happening again this week for the month of June. And yes, we have Tom Hawkins from Tea Time with Tom Hawkins, and also known for his content from nerdsonline.com. So that'll be fun. But before we get to that, let's get into the nerdy news that you guys care about. Earlier, I think this was yesterday, it was announced the PlayStation Plus free games for the month of June 2016 for PS4, PS3, and PS Vita. PS4's lineup is really, really good. We got NBA 2K16 and Gone Home. I'm really excited. I've never played Gone Home before. NBA 2K16, a lot of people have praised it. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but if it seems cool, I'll definitely download it. It's fucking free. I might super get into it if it's as good as people are saying it is. And Gone Home has been recommended time and time and time again. So even after not playing it, I'm going to recommend it to you guys. If you have PlayStation Plus, check that shit out, because a lot of people love it. It's a good 6-hour experience from what I hear. So if you're looking for some of those shorter experiences and not quite super long fucking things like The Witcher, might be a good game for you to check out. Also, PlayStation 3 owners can pick up Echo Chrome and Siren Blood Curse episodes 1 through 12. What the fuck are those things? And PlayStation Vita will have Little Deviants and God of War Chains of Olympus. Sort of weak for the PlayStation 3. We don't know what the fuck those games are. Some people might enjoy that. Little Deviants, I've heard of it. I don't know what the reactions towards it is. I don't know if it's good or not. And God of War Chains of Olympus, it's a God of War game. Fuck it. So, there you go. People who are complaining about the PS4 lineup the last couple of months, and you can now shut the fuck up. You have no reason to complain this month. It's a good, sort of diverse lineup. You got your sports, your recent sports game. That's the crazy thing about this. This is almost like an Injustice Gods Among Us sort of thing, where that was like a AAA title, and it was sort of recent, and it's free now. And so that's sort of the same thing we got going on. We got our fucking AAA NBA sports game going on. And then you got a little nice indie game that gets a lot of praise and stuff. So you got a nice diverse group of games right there. So you can't bitch and complain. If you want to still get bitch and complain, go do it on some fucking other person's channel. We don't want you. Next up in news is Batman v Superman actor Jeremy Irons, who played Alfred, the servant to Ben Affleck's Batman, was recently in an interview. Sorry, I didn't write down the fucking pieces of news. I forgot to address that. Didn't write it down last night. Fucking sorry. A lot of shit happened this week. I'm just reading it off the computer, so I'm sorry. Jesus. Jeremy Irons was recently in an interview from Daily Mail, and they asked him about the film reviews, and he said, quote, "Deservedly so." He goes on to say, "I mean, it took 800 million pounds." I don't know. This is Tom Hawkins fucking speak right here. "So the kicking didn't matter, but it was sort of overstuffed. It was very muddled. I think the next one will be simpler. The script is certainly a lot smaller, and it's more linear," unquote. So there's a lot of interviews with Ben Affleck and other stars were like, "Oh, yeah, it's great." But I respect Jeremy Irons, who said, this was not the best it could be. It was super overstuffed. He, addressed that. And I don't think a lot of other people who were part of that project were addressing it. So I'm glad that he came out and was like, "Yo, I'm Jeremy Irons. I'm an old dude. I've seen this industry for a while. Yes, it wasn't that great of a movie. I'm not scared." So there you go. I just thought that was a nice little piece of news to bring up, since everybody else in that project was pretending everything was fine. Anyway, I talked about Injustice Gods Among Us. I mentioned it earlier. But there's a report that says Injustice: Gods Among Us 2 is currently in development, and unnamed sources, I'm getting this from GameSpot, unnamed sources state it is set for release in March 2017. NetherRealm Studios is working on a sequel to Injustice: God Among Us, which has been reported by an unnamed source, or actually, it's reporting from a French gaming website, gameblog.fr. Who the fuck knows if that's reliable or not? Take that with a grain of salt. But that seems cool. I liked, I'm not super into fighting games. I'm not into Mortal Kombat. I'm not into Street Fighter or any of this shit. But I did enjoy Injustice, and it was totally, when it was free, it was totally fun. I originally bought it for the 360 and then got it free for the PS4. And it's just it's a fun time. There's like sort of a story that is a little weird, but if you're a comic book fan, it's sort of cool. But the fighting mechanics and the homages to other DC video games were all scattered throughout those, so that was really cool. So I would be excited for a follow up, because a lot of people like that game. I'm glad they're working on something else. But anyway, speaking of WB DC video games, from BzG247.com, they have a thing called Batman Arkham Knight Game of the Year Edition pops up on Amazon Germany. Apparently, there will be a Game of the Year edition for Batman Arkham Knight, which you got to presume, if it's real, will include all of the DLC. And it's Game of the Year editions that term gets thrown around like way too much for people. Like Batman Arkham Knight did not win from any like major source, at least from any official major source. Did not win Game of the Year for anybody. So it's sort of this weird, like, yeah, it was received well, but was it like, does fucking Far Cry 4 get a Game of the Year edition? Does Far Cry Primal get a Game of the Year edition? I don't know. Just, it's a weird thing. I know you guys want to do you can do an Ultimate Edition. That's fine. Or you can include it in your Return to Arkham sort of thing. But to call it Game of the Year edition is sort of, you're tooting your horn a little bit, Rocksteady, okay? It was a good game. It was a fine game. Story was good. A lot of people didn't like the story. I can understand that. Gameplay was all right. Looks beautiful. But there you go. I don't think it deserves Game of the Year edition. Fucking piece of shit. Anyway, over at IGN, they write, Thor Ragnarok might be a Planet Hulk mashup. This is reported by Scott Kalora. So Joe Blow, I don't know, what is this? JoeBlow.com reports that the Thor sequel will be a sort of mashup between the Ragnarok story and Planet Hulk, as per the site. Quote, how Thor ends up on the planet in question is unclear, but he will definitely be involved in some gladiatorial games run by none other than Jeff Goldblum's Grandmaster. In terms of Hulk's appearance in this portion of the film, he will be rocking the one-shoulder armor as seen in the comics, so expect him to be decked out in the familiar Planet Hulk look. That is a really fucking cool idea. I'm really excited for Thor Ragnarok. I was excited since the moment they announced that it was called Ragnarok, because it could be one of two things. It could be the end of times, much like the Norse mythology is about, like the event Ragnarok is very, very much like the apocalypse of Christianity and whatnot. So Ragnarok's like the end of all times. Or it could be alluding to the comics, the Marvel comics, where Ragnarok is like the code name of a clone of Thor. So I was excited either way, and it's cool that it's leaning more to the first side of it. Might seem like the end of all times. I did not know Jeff Goldblum was playing the Grandmaster. I don't know if that's like a confirmation there or whatnot, but this all seems really, really cool, and it seems like a nice, like, integrative way to put in people and not force characters to be put in stories. So I'm excited. So if this is true, fuck yeah, you can put me on board. Thor 1 was good, it was fun. Thor 2, the fuck was that about? Thor 3 might be a redemption. Anyway, moving on, over at GameSpot, who wrote this? No one wrote this, apparently. Star Wars Rogue One reshoots ordered, studio quote unhappy unquote with first cut report. Now there's a lot of speculation. Rogue One has to do reshoots, and because of that, people are like, oh shit, people are unhappy about like the original cut of the film. The movie comes out in 6 months, okay? Reshoots happen for every single fucking movie. Reshoots happened for Force Awakens. Reshoots happened for The Dark Knight and all of these other great films. And I'm not saying that like Rogue One isn't going to be bad. I'm just saying you can't immediately think like, oh, this is going to be terrible. There are rumors that the reshoots are going to include scenes with Han Solo since they finally have their Han Solo cast. That's probably a realistic thing that might happen. So if they are disappointed, if like those rumors are true, that does suck. But I wouldn't fucking freak the fuck out of reshoots. Reshoots happen all the time in Hollywood. Get over it. It's this fucking internet craziness, guys. Just stop it. Just stop it, please. And anyway, for the last piece of news, No Man's Sky delay confirmed, now coming in August. Wrote by Eddie Macick from GameSpot.com. He writes, the rumors were right. Hello Games announced tonight that the space game No Man's Sky is not going to make it out in June as previously expected. The PlayStation 4 and PC game will now land in August. Hello Games founder Sean Murray announced in a PlayStation blog post. So this was sort of predictable. We had not heard anything about No Man's Sky in the last couple of weeks. It was like, oh, okay, this is coming out in a few weeks. Are we going to find anything out about it? Do we need to go to a specific site to buy it? What's going on? We had heard nothing. So it was, as Colin Moriarty says, there were writings on the wall of the sort of where this game was at. So a delay was not that surprising. And it's really the reaction to it. We talk about it a little bit in the upcoming episode of talking shit about video game delays and just the nasty lashback of Jason Schreier from Kotaku reported it as a rumor. He was like, hey, this might not be real, or it could be, but I'm getting reports from sources I don't want to name that this is getting delayed. And people sent him death threats over that, and that's fucking ridiculous. It's like you're sending death threats to people about factual things. Possibly not factual, but who knows? And then, Sean Murray announced the delay, and he's getting death threats. And it's like, guys, settle the fuck down. You're embarrassing us as an industry and as a community. Video games finally are starting to get to the point where people are outside of our community are seeing these as like, oh, this could possibly be art. And when this kind of shit comes out, it's like, oh, they're still just a bunch of fucking kids who don't know what the fuck they're doing. And just stop it. Fucking stop it. I'm not excited for No Man's Sky. And that's not because it doesn't look like a good game. It just seems doesn't seem up my alley. And I feel like if you guys are hyping it up to this crazy fucking point, you're going to be disappointed by it no matter what. No matter if it came out in a couple weeks, no matter if it came out in August. Just stop with the hype train. Stop with the fucking death threats. Just stop. Just stop with video games. Just stop playing video games. Delete your Twitter. Delete your Facebook account. Just get off the fucking internet. Ladies and gentlemen, that was all the news that we had for today. But we have one little segment, a little surprise segment that I didn't even expect was going to happen. Gamer of the Month. And this month, our Gamer of the Month is Mr. Tom Hawkins. What's up, Tom? How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. We have a little special coffee time with Tom Hawkins.
I know. I don't drink tea in this country.
Yeah. We don't allow it. It's illegal in America. Your silly tea. We dumped it out on the boats from
docks,
when the Boston Tea Party as people call it. So I know it's crazy. We have Gamer of the Month 2 weeks in a row. I know it doesn't happen, but it happened. It's happening right now, folks. So Tom, people know you originally from you used to do you still do the Kind of Funny Supercuts.
Correct.
That was sort of your first endeavor into this sort of weird online personality video game coverage. What we need to find out a name to just call it. That was your first endeavor. Like about a year ago, you and I found Kind of Funny at the same time, and that was sort of like both of our entryway into this field. And you started doing the Kind of Funny Supercuts, and those have done pretty well for you.
Yeah, they've done me very well.
What was the first one that you did? I always forget.
The first one I did is really poorly cut. It's poorly edited. The audio's out of sync in parts, but it was my first ever video, so I'd edited. And it was just about. It was just loads of euphemisms. Just sexual. Just loads I made it sound really sexual.
Okay.
An episode of Colin and Greg Live. It was based on an episode of Colin and Greg Live.
And some of your more popular ones, the Chronicles of the Timmy family.
I think that's my most viewed video.
Okay, yeah,
today.
that's if you don't know, Kind of Funny. They do a weekly show called Colin and or a daily show called Colin and Greg Live.
Yep.
And in the coming months of Fallout 4 coming out, they made up this family called Timmy, or this guy named Timmy and
Timmy,
and
Tommy, his son Timmy.
And how Timmy is obsessed with Fallout 4 and how he abuses his son for not liking Fallout.
Yeah.
And his wife makes she's
a baker.
Tammy Timmy, she's cheating.
Timmy's, I think it's Tammy Timmy's pie important. It's pies.
Yeah,
pie
and then like Tommy Timmy isn't the real son of Timmy. It's a bunch of crazy shit. Check it out.
It's actually Jimmy
really,
Jammy, I think.
Oh yeah. And it's really funny. But then you started doing that. In your first trip here to San Francisco, which I think we talk about in the upcoming episode of Talking Shit, was you were here on business for a startup your dad was working on in San Francisco, and you met the guys from Kind of Funny at TwitchCon. You just like sort of bumped into them and you had to like leave that day.
Yeah, so basically the flight was in like 2 hours, so I was cutting it fine.
Yeah,
and
sort of like this. We have to get you like the fuck out of here right after we interview you.
Exactly, and yeah, so I booked an Uber because I was like, oh, well, the guys aren't coming. They're coming really late. I won't bump into them. I won't see them. I was standing on the street waiting for the Uber, and then I just turned around. As soon as I pressed book, I turned around, and they were walking up the street. So basically, I had 4 or 5 minutes until the Uber turned up to speak to them. Got a quick photo, and then that was it for
I remember
the first
that
time.
photo.
Yeah, it's still kicking around
This
somewhere.
is the first time I ever saw your beautiful face. Back then, you had like the crazy long beard. You can see some of the in a couple episodes of Nerd to the Round Table and Tea Time with the first 4 episodes of Tea Time.
Is it first 4? Is it?
Yeah, I was looking at your channel yesterday, and I remember the 5th episode is when you had the new shave, and I was like, oh god, he only lasted 4 episodes with that beard. Speaking about nerds, after your supercuts of like the Kind of Funny thing, your next sort of endeavor in this sort of video game sphere was relaunching Nerds Online with Sean Pitts and Fred Sully and Jack Rooney. And you were here for about 6 weeks in total.
I think it was, yeah.
You guys relaunched, you guys made a site and started doing video content, because before that, Nerds of the Round Table was strictly just audio podcasts. And so you did that for a couple of weeks, and inevitably our fucking country kicked you out, so you haven't been seen on Nerds.
Well, I left voluntarily.
Voluntarily?
Voluntarily, that's the word. That was a struggle. And yeah, I had to go back home. I was only here for 6 weeks. It was good though. It was a good 6 weeks. We relaunched. I was very happy with it. There's bits that need updating and need, I did the whole thing apart from the logo and a couple of other bits. I did it all in 48 hours with like no sleep. But I enjoyed doing that kind of thing. It was good fun. Yeah. And it came out pretty well. We got a lot of compliments on it. People enjoyed it.
And, and because of that, you guys have a very strong following right now.
Yeah.
So.
And but I'm still technically a producer there, but mainly I'm support. Like something breaks on the website, I'll fix it. If they need something new added to the website, I'll add it. If they need a new video asset, I'll make it. If they're confused about something on the video, then they'll contact me. Like I'm kind of like
you're the
the IT tech guy, but that just kind of sits in the background. And Fred does a lot of work there. Sean, I think, now edits all the videos. He's taught himself how to use Premiere Pro.
Okay.
And then they're doing video content when they can, mainly just nerds. But then it's hard to do cross-Atlantic content. So I was still editing it for the first 3 or 4 weeks when I got back. But
there's like the time difference.
You're sending
and
like
sure
a 5-6 gig file, so they had to
over
upload
the internet.
They had to upload that. I then had to download that. That kills my internet for a while. Then I have to edit it, export it, which then kills my laptop for 5-6 hours. I then have to re-upload it. Like it would take like 18 hours.
Like an unnecessarily long process.
It's just way too long. Because it's an hour and a half, 2 hour bit of content recorded in 1080p. Like it's quite high quality, and a big file. So it just made it difficult. So I said to Sean, Sean wanted to learn anyway. He should be learning as well. So he decided to learn, and he's now editing it himself, which is great. Yeah. And I still wanted to make content, but they don't like doing that stuff over Skype.
Yeah, and that's totally understandable. I've done it a couple of times, and it is like you have that thing where you talk over each other, and it's very easy to happen. So I totally understand where like they like to keep it in house. For the main part, I like to do that as well. It's just like I like to also, for Game of the Month, what we're doing right now is it's difficult because there's not a lot of people out here that I can realistically interview.
Yeah.
Like, I can't fucking get Greg Miller or fucking Colin Moriarty or fucking Daniel O'Dwyer onto the show. It's not realistic. But I know you guys, and I like you guys, and you guys make great content. So for the most part, you guys are never over here. So I have to, resort to Google Hangouts, or I'm slowly trying to learn the whole Skype OBS thing. I think Roger Percorny is he's slowly teaching me some of those things, and so it is a special time where I actually get to like bring people in and don't have to do that. So I totally understand like all of their stance and on that.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. And then I wanted to keep creating my own content.
Yeah, so you started Tea Time with Tom Hawkins.
So I kind of I threw the idea around with a few people and was like, "What do you think? Is this a good idea or not?" And
people value your opinion.
So I think I only said it to one person. I said to him, I was like, "What do you think?" Like I told him on the Tuesday, and then I did it I had all the assets ready on the Friday, and then I filmed it on the Saturday, and I got it live. And because I prefer to do weekend content because
no one else does it.
Most people do weekday content, which is great, but like, why not do the weekend content? Just for for those people that do keep up to date with everything, why not try this extra little bit?
Yeah.
And it's quite good for me. It works perfectly with my schedule. I send a tweet out on a Friday evening, my time. We'll do this all on British time.
Yeah.
I send it on a Friday evening. I then usually work on a Friday night, so I'll go to work. I'll come back.
If you're not familiar with the show, it's Tom answering Twitter questions, mainly dealing with like nerdy stuff, video game stuff, possibly movie stuff, and then sometimes Amy Gills will ask you sweet or spicy or some shit.
Yep, random questions.
Yeah.
And so I'll answer all those. So I film it on a Saturday morning, edit it, upload it all by like lunchtime.
Okay.
So that's how it works perfectly for me because it's like a 3-4 hour thing. It works brilliant. There's 5 to 10 minutes content. Well, it's never 5 minutes. It's like 8 to 11 minutes really, but it's short and sweet, and hopefully people find it relaxed. People tend to watch it. This is content that I would like to watch. It's like
exactly.
when you're eating your lunch or you're eating your breakfast.
And because you got like a nice little like music going on in the background, like lounge music.
Exactly.
You definitely have like a calming. It's almost like if you've never seen an episode, I highly recommend. There will be a new one tomorrow on youtube.com/TomHawkin5. And he has like you have your quirky little style, and you have like some awkward pauses, but it's like it's still just very relaxing. Yeah. It's not like a lot of the podcasts where there's like little awkward pauses. It's just like, fuck, I don't really care about what this person's saying, but you are articulate in like what you talk about and whatnot. Sometimes you just take the second to like just process and think.
Yeah, so it's all filmed. There's no editing, so it's just like I film it. It's 10 minutes and then I stop filming, and then
you sometimes put like your little image in there.
Yeah.
And flip some After Effects.
Yeah, I'll put some random little funny bits in, and like I'll comment on myself if I think I've done something stupid. I'll be like, "What an idiot!" So I'll comment myself myself
put like a little word bubble in there.
Exactly. And yeah, this weekend, as in the Kind of Funny weekend's been awesome because a lot of people come up to me and say,
you had to take a break this weekend. We were trying to figure out how to do like a live Tea Time with Tom Hawkins, but
there are a few people that wanted that, and like, but it's
it was hard trying to find a place that would like be like, okay, this is cool, and then finding a day. It was a whole fucking rigmarole. So the transition from being with people for Nerds Online and Tea Time with just yourself, like how has that transition been?
It's been like I just enjoy making content, so it's been relatively easy. I also love creating like video assets. I love creating intros and stuff. So being able to have my own show, and I was like, oh cool, I get to create a new intro. So I created a new one. Like I need to create new like slide-in graphics because they're ones I created like 9 months ago. Like I think they were my first slide-in thing. So
I totally understand the intros. Intros are like my sort of powerhouse where like, even though our shows are not that fucking great sometimes, always we have like fucking spot on intros. Like I'm always, every 50 episodes of Talking Shit, I create like little new things, put into the intro. And then I'm thinking about reshooting the intro for BzG News just because a lot of stuff happened this weekend that I think would be pretty funny to put into that intro.
Yeah.
But I totally understand you with that because it feels so nice to be able to not have to worry about, oh, how are people going to think about my opinions? It's just literally just the skill of video editing and finding like the right music. And like when you find it, it feels so great. And where did you pull the music for your intro?
Most of my music is from YouTube's audio library,
Okay.
which is limited,
Yeah.
but it worked.
You got to get on that Roger Corny powerhouse, wherever the fuck he finds his chef.
I need to speak to that man and see what he does.
We both do.
Yeah.
Roger Corny, hit us up.
He's super talented.
He is. And so you're not only a video game guy, not only fucking nerdy and stuff. You have other endeavors. Some of the things that you post every once in a while on Facebook or on Twitter. So you play in football.
Yeah.
Soccer, the right word for it. To humor you, I'll say football.
Yeah, thank
you. How long have you been playing that?
I started quite late-ish, so probably since I was maybe 9 or 10, and then I played until I was 14. Then I stopped for 3 years. Then I started again, and then I had another year break, and then I've been playing now for like 3 years. Again,
so right now, are you in like a league, or you just get together with your buddies?
So yeah, I'm in a league. So I was in two teams. I left. So the seasons have just finished.
Okay.
I kind of left one of my teams. So basically, in England, there's the like non-professional leagues. So there's Saturday and Sunday football.
Yeah, it's sort of like here in America, like you have like your YMCA, sort of like baseball leagues and stuff, where it's just like people from the neighborhood get together and decide on teams and shit. So it's like that.
Yeah, it's similar to that. So there's proper teams. Once you've signed for a team, you can't go to another one.
Yeah.
And you're locked in and stuff. So there's that, and there's proper leagues. They keep track of who's the top goal scorer in the league and all that stuff. And
okay.
So it's good fun, and you do know what's going on, and it is really good. But yes, there's a Saturday league and a Sunday league, so you can play for 2 separate teams in that case.
Okay.
But like the Saturday team, the guys weren't like. So the Sunday team's awesome. The guys are all nerdy as well. Like they all play games. So there's always something to talk about.
That's cool.
The Saturday team, they weren't at all.
They're all
football. That's their entire life. So I didn't really get on with them that well.
Okay.
But I mean, we won the league with both teams. That's pretty good.
That's
I won a cup and came second in a cup. So like we had a good season. Thing is, obviously, I missed 6 weeks of the season when I was away.
Yeah.
And I've missed I missed in total probably like 8 weeks, which is quite a lot to miss. So usually I'd be top goal scorer, but I missed out on quite a lot this year. Last year I was top goal scorer anyway.
No MVP.
So usually it's
no MVP award for Tom Hawkins this year.
Usually it's an overstatement. I apologize for that. But last season I scored quite a few this season. I had a good streak. But I just enjoy playing football because it's competitive. I'm competitive really, and it keeps me fit.
That's good.
It's more about that than the actual.
Because all of us fucking nerds and stuff, we barely get to go outside. So
this is true. This is my only outside time, and I just enjoy it because I don't know. I do. I play on the wing or up front for those people that are wondering. I'm right-footed. If this is intrigues
so you kick it with your right foot?
Yeah, but I can sometimes I sometimes play on the left though, and I like cut in
to fake people out and whatnot.
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
I can kind of use my left foot ish. It's like 50-50.
Okay, that's sort of the similar. I don't play a lot of basketball, but when I have, like, I can sort of do both.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to sports, I'm a little bit ambidextrous.
Yeah.
Like baseball is my main sport, so I bat left, I pitch right. Or I can bat both, but my power comes from like swinging left, and but I also pitch right, and when I play golf, I swing left, and even though I write with my right hand, and whatnot, so I can appreciate like trying to go to the other side and try to fake people out every once in a while. Yeah,
but it's enjoyable. Passes the time, gets me out of the house.
Yeah, that's good.
Keeps me fit, which is good.
Fucking fit, sexy man. Make me never want to leave this house. Just crawl in a ball and cry.
You're a fool.
Also, I told you about all the questions. Just to give you some context, I told you about some of the questions I was going to ask you. Yeah. Unexpected question. Do you prefer the beard or not? I know throughout this last week you've said you actually like more of the stubble, but...
I put definitely the clean shaven is probably the
most likely
least.
The image I'm going to use of Tom is going to be an older image of him with like his fucking crazy ass beard. So
you could have both, like a half and half.
I'm not that fancy. I don't know how to do that kind of shit.
I don't know, but so I used to be like down here.
Yeah,
but it was too long. Even with the long-ish beard when it was like here. I don't know. It was a lot of effort. It was like a 10-15 minute thing every day you have to look after.
Really?
Yeah. You have to
for my beard, I
comb it and oil
my
it.
My fake ass beard, which I grow out like a little bit, nothing like yours, but like I never pay attention to it whatsoever. I'm not a beard guy.
Once it gets that long, you have to start looking after it and like properly putting effort into it. Whereas
Because it might get gross and stanky and shit.
it
You
does,
don't
exactly,
want that.
exactly. It has to, you know, you want it smelling good and being all healthy. It has to be like because it does. Yeah, I'm getting really into beard now, but
Fuck
like
it.
it's a basically it doesn't.
Trevor Starkey and I talked about theater for fucking 45 minutes.
Okay, fine.
so.
Yeah. So yeah,
Beard culture.
Because your hair, the hair on your head is different to the hair that grows out of here. So
Oh,
this
okay.
oils itself. That's why you get greasy hair.
Okay.
But your beard doesn't. So it would dry out and get all like disgusting. So you have to oil it to keep it nice.
Interesting.
Exactly. So that's why people oil their beards when they get long, and you have to like when it was down here, you had to because if not, it was ridiculous. So, and then I cut it off for charity because I was going to cut it off anyway. And then someone said, I don't remember who it was. One of my friends was just like, "Hey, why don't you just do it for charity?" And then it was a good idea because it meant that there was no real backlash of people being angry at me losing the beard. Because a few people were like, "I hate you for losing the beard," but
really,
but you did it for charity, so it's okay. So like. That's a good way to avoid flack as well. I genuinely got like a tiny little bit of like, I'm guessing sarcastic hate, but like it was.
We talk about unnecessary hate and shit on the upcoming episode of Talking Shit, so you can check that out. And
Yeah,
that's weirdly relevant to like what we had just talked about. So it's fucking people get upset over the dumbest things.
they do, but this is a bit long now.
Yeah,
like because I haven't been able to shave for like 9 days. I've shaved my neck still, but like this is now getting like pretty long.
I think it's like a good thing. You'll just trim it down every once in a while, let it get to here, and I think
I just do it every 2 days. It's
Okay.
easier. I trim it down to 3 mil, very small,
That's a very fancy.
and then I do the neck, and then I
Okay.
do that every 2 days. It only takes 10 minutes, so it's you know
not that much of a hassle.
yeah. I prefer the stubble look.
I think you pull off both.
There was a vote at
I
Fan Funny
looked-
Live, and did you see that?
The
Day
vote?
2. Day 2 when
I
they're doing
think
the
so.
podcast.
I might
there
have
was
been
a vote.
sleeping. I don't know. I fell
Okay.
asleep for like 20 minutes. So
There was a vote as to what people preferred, and I think it was 50-50.
yeah, no, I liked both. You looked good with the long beard, and now it's hard to imagine you with the long beard because you're just a fucking handsome guy all around. So it's
You're too kind.
so you're from England, right?
Correct.
And you're really trying to get into this industry of video game, online, whatever the fuck we
Yep.
want to call it. And it's really hard for you to get over here because our country sort of sucks.
Yep. True.
So what is the most difficult process of like what's the hill you have to jump over for you to for sure get a visa?
There's like 4 or 5 options. So there's you marry someone, but obviously you have to meet someone and then marry them. That's a lot of effort. And they have to be American, obviously.
Sorry, ladies, that option is off the table. Tom Hawkins is in a relationship.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
But what are some of the other options?
One is for a company to sponsor you, but that's incredibly expensive and time consuming for a company. So you have to be really worth it, or they have to be a really big company.
Okay.
There's the crazy option of if you have $500,000, you can invest in small companies, and then that gives you a visa for some reason.
That's weird.
I suppose you're investing in the country, so like, hey, sure. In return, here you go.
Okay.
They're the 3 I can. There's a couple of other random ways. I could go and get a degree, like a rare degree, and then like specialize in something, and then
That'll be worth it enough for them to want you to come over.
So like every option's a few year. Even the sponsor one is the shortest one, and that's even like 8-9 months to a year to get the paperwork and all the stuff. You have to be vetted. You have to have all this stuff go through, which is a lot.
And it's very tough in this industry because there's not a lot of jobs.
Isn't exactly. There's so many people that want these kind of jobs. It's not like
you really have to stick out because if a company decides to look at you, you really have to like be worth it.
And so for the UK games industry, there's like 3 or 4 companies. You've got IGN UK, but that's a small team of like 20 or 30. You've got GameSpot UK, it's like about 10 people. You've got Kotaku, which is again probably like 10, 15 people, and they don't do any video content, which is what I kind of do. I edit
that is your
I host
specialty.
video content, so like that's about it. And like so in total, like there's probably like 50, 60, maybe 100 jobs in the UK games industry. That's tough.
Yeah, it is.
And I mean, it's not much better over here. To be fair, there's a bit more going on. The companies are bigger, and the headquarters tend to be around here.
Yeah.
But it's a tough slog, and there's not many independents in England either. So there's so here you've got Kind of Funny, and you've got all these other, like you've got Giant Bomb's
Giant Bomb's technically
part of
still
GameSpot, but I mean,
Spot.
if you add that team onto the GameSpot team, you've got even more jobs. And like, I can't think of any on top of my head, but like, there's loads of jobs in these small companies as well that's kicking around. So it gives, but in England, they just don't exist. There's not really anything, and like, you got Rooster Teeth as well in America, and like that's another big one that hire a lot of personalities and video editors and stuff like that. And I've been looking at UK jobs for video editing. There's really not much apart from moving somewhere that's like the horrific that I don't want to live in. And like, and it wouldn't even, if it was working at IGN UK, but it was in a horrific place, like fine, but it's like a horrible job in a horrible place.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you'd be getting industry experience, but at a cost. So it's just tough. It's a slog. I've got a good support group of people that want me to be here.
Yeah, you got a good following of yourself, and you got a lot of friends who are in the industry who.
Yeah, I've got great through Kind of Funny. I've got some great contacts. Like, it's super helpful.
Yeah.
So hopefully one day.
Yeah,
we're hoping.
We are hoping. You're definitely one of the people I root for even more, just because I know like how much of a struggle it is to get over here. So it's just. It'll happen. We just gotta let it happen.
Yeah.
Can't force it. It's like a relationship. You can't force it. If you force it, it's all sour and weird. And you ask for butt stuff, and they're like, no. And so you just gotta let it happen. I'm sure it will, because you are so good at what you do when it comes to video editing, and even when it comes to hosting, you've got your own style that does stand out from a lot of other people. So it'll take time, but I'm sure you will keep up with it, and you will keep with it. And eventually, someone will be able to bring you over. Someone. I don't fucking know who.
I appreciate it.
And so, the last thing I want to talk about, question I usually ask a gamer of the month, because they play video games. We all fucking love video games. Tom, what's your most anticipated video game right now?
It's going to be one of two.
Okay.
I'm going to go two.
You're allowed to say a couple. I don't give a fuck. We have no expectations on
one
the show.
is going to be Mafia 3. But both of my most anticipated games are games that are most likely going to be delayed.
I know.
So we've got Mafia 3.
Okay.
And Horizon.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. Now the thing with Mafia 3, and I'm actually confident about its release date, is because we heard nothing about it, to the point where I almost thought it was going to be canceled. So I'm actually really confident, because they kept everything so close to the chest. I feel like they were finally ready to say, like, okay, we can realistically hit this date. If there's a delay, I don't think it's going to be out of 2017. If there's a delay, it might be like a couple weeks, sort of like Uncharted's second delay, So there might just be some technical hiccups they have to deal with. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to be like because a lot of people who are actually in the industry got to do a recent sort of testing of it, and they said it was like really great. It ran smooth, and like all of the stuff that they tested out was like solid, and it almost looked like it was ready to launch. So I
need to revisit Mafia 2, because I haven't played it for a long time. Yeah, like years.
It doesn't hold up from my understanding. Does it not? Like it's very open world-esque, but there's not a lot to do in that open world. Yeah. And that's something I'm definitely really excited about. When we did the BzG Game of the Year game awards, the game that won most anticipated game was Cuphead. But Mafia 3 was still like up there for me, because I'm just, that time and that setting and that character is just so fucking fascinating, because we don't get to see that in video games a lot. So I definitely appreciate that was one of your answers. So Horizon Zero Dawn is
that just looks. I remember watching that at E3 and was just like, shit, this game is everything. Like, this just looks so good. I just want it now. But I'm just scared. I'm scared to be excited for it, because I know there's a high chance, of it getting pushed back, which sucks.
It does suck, but like we talk about in the upcoming episode of Talking Shit, that it has to be necessary every once in a while. And I feel like if Horizon...
Don't get me wrong, I'd rather it came out later and better, but I would like it good now. Yeah. Thanks, if that's okay.
I mean, I'm personally not super... Horizon didn't pull me like everybody else. Like, the setting is cool, but it seems very RPG focused. I've been playing a lot of RPGs lately, and I'm not that much of an RPG guy. So I feel like I got my RPG fix in the last sort of year with Fallout 4, with Witcher, sort of with an old school JRPG, to an extent, Undertale. So Maybe by the time it comes out, if it does get delayed, maybe it comes out in a time where I'm like, okay, I want to get back into this. But right now, my sort of hype for it is not really existent. So
That's
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
that's fair
totally
enough.
in the minority. But again, video fucking internet people haters out there like, oh, you hate Horizons. No, I don't hate it. I think it looks fine, but I'm not at the point of everybody else. But maybe when it gets
I know what
closer.
you mean though. When you get sick of a certain like open worlds, I dipped away from open worlds for a while. That's when I started playing the whole Uncharted collection. So I just want to be linear. I don't want to think about where I have like, oh, should I go all the way to this other side of the map?
You
and
playing
do this
Uncharted
other
4
stuff? Not yet. I need to finish Uncharted 3. I got like halfway.
Okay.
So I
really
tend
like
to
Uncharted 3.
with the Uncharted so far. I've seemed to just sit down and then just like hammer out like I wait until I can get a good session and I'll just play like 8 hours and then I'm like cool and then I play like that's how I've been playing them. Just a big session, but I haven't found the time at the moment. So I've been playing Black Flag I'm paying for flights and stuff's expensive. So I've been not buying new games, which means I've been looking at my old library. So I've been going, okay, well,
Black Flag.
What should I play? And Black Flag's one that I knew I should finish and I never did. People gave me a lot of shit for it, so I've gone back and I've been.
I don't
playing
think it's
that.
like a necessity.
Oh, no.
Like I'm glad that you're playing it because I really enjoy that game. Well, but it's not like you need to play this game.
No, it's not at all.
Fucking get
but
out of
like,
here.
I've been playing that as a good like. Okay, I've got an hour to spare.
Yeah,
I can just jump
and that was
in.
sort of like Mad Max for me, where it's like Mad Max I got when it came out, and that was like a great like. I'll play it for a couple of hours while I listen to a podcast because there's little to no story in that game, so it was perfect.
The story is pretty bad. I've never finished it. I got like halfway through that and I stopped playing it.
But the gameplay loop I really enjoyed.
Oh yeah, it was really good fun. But there is a lot of driving around. So yeah, it's perfect podcast material.
Yeah. Tom, where can we find your shit again?
You can find me on the key ones. So I occasionally stream.
Okay.
Rarely.
Okay.
I occasionally stream. But basically I've got Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter, are all /TomHawkin5. You visit that page, you'll find me.
I'm sure a bunch of links will be down in the description below. So if you want just an easy press, they'll be down there.
Also, let's pimp Snapchat. You don't use Snapchat.
I don't use Snapchat.
Snapchat. Hawk1n5. I've got some good followers on there as recommendations.
Okay.
I've got Tim who enjoys them. Tim Gettys enjoys my Snapchats. I mean,
and Tim Gettys, the fucking social media lord, enjoys his shit. So there you go.
I've just got Kind of Funny Kevin on board, and Colin's Erin. They're 3. She loves them. So we've got 3 glowing recommendations. Sean Pitts says he bases his Snapchats, his ideas off mine, half of them. A lot of people came up to me this weekend and said, I steal your Snapchat ideas. And it's like, cool. I steal them from BuzzFeed. So
I don't understand Snapchat. I really don't. Maybe like we'll talk through the internet this week and maybe you can get me on board.
you should get on Snapchat. It's the best.
I technically have an account. It's just not on my phone anymore. So
Hawk1n5
Hawk1n5
because I made it before anything happened.
Well, Tom, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
I'm
gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you so much.
I miss you too. I'm leaving in 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Did you call you Uber yet?
We're gonna shake hands 15 minutes.
Yeah.
No, I'll call it at 2.
Okay.
I'm not in a rush.
Yeah. It's a good workout right here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this week for BzG News. Remember, BzG News goes up every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, unless there's a crazy event going on, like Kind of Funny Live 2, and it went up, I think, a little later, but I apologize for that. But anyway, usually Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where I deliver all of the nerdy news, sometimes have people on and I interview them. I hope to see you next week for some more nerdy news, but until then, stay nerdy. Thank you so much. Fake crowd. I forgot to explain this to Tom before the show. I have a fake audience. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.